In the small town of Ravenwood, nestled deep within the misty woods of Northumberland, there stood an old, dilapidated mansion that had long been abandoned. Locals whispered tales of its dark past, where strange occurrences were said to happen under the veil of night. Legend had it that the mansion belonged to the enigmatic Dr. Nathaniel Blackwood, a reclusive scientist obsessed with the occult and forbidden knowledge. He was rumored to conduct bizarre experiments in the mansion's hidden chambers, delving into realms beyond human understanding. One stormy night, a group of adventurous teenagers dared each other to explore the mansion. Armed with only flickering flashlights and nervous laughter, they ventured into the echoing halls that seemed to breathe with a life of their own. Shadows danced on the walls, and the creaking of floorboards echoed through the empty corridors. As they delved deeper, a chill settled in the air, and strange symbols etched into the walls seemed to glow faintly in their beams of light. Each room they entered whispered secrets of the past. Faded portraits stared with empty eyes, and forgotten relics of a bygone era lay scattered about like the remnants of a forgotten dream. But the real terror began when they stumbled upon a hidden staircase leading down into darkness. Reluctantly, they descended, the air growing colder with each step. At the bottom, they found themselves in a labyrinthine maze of tunnels, where the walls seemed to pulse with a malevolent energy. Lost in the twisting passages, their flashlights flickered and died one by one, leaving them in pitch darkness. Panic set in as they groped blindly through the cold, clammy air, their footsteps echoing in the suffocating silence. Whispers brushed against their ears, and fleeting glimpses of shadowy figures darted at the edge of their vision. Suddenly, they found themselves in a vast chamber bathed in an eerie blue light. In the center, an ancient stone altar stood, adorned with arcane symbols and flickering candles. Fear seized their hearts as they realized they were not alone. Dark figures emerged from the shadows, their eyes glowing with a malevolent hunger. With nowhere to run, they huddled together in terror as the figures closed in, their whispered chants filling the air with dread. Just as all hope seemed lost, the walls themselves seemed to tremble, and an unearthly howl pierced the air. The figures recoiled, their forms dissipating into wisps of smoke, and the chamber fell silent once more. Shaken to their core, the teenagers stumbled out of the mansion, never daring to look back. The mansion stood silent and forbidding as it had before, its secrets buried once more in the depths of Ravenwood's haunted woods. To this day, locals speak in hushed tones of the cursed mansion and the chilling events that transpired within its walls. A reminder that some secrets are best left undisturbed, lest they awaken the darkness that lurks in the shadows of Ravenwood. Years passed, but the eerie tale of the mansion in Ravenwood persisted like a lingering fog in the minds of those who called the town their home. The old mansion remained untouched, its crumbling facade a stark reminder of the mysteries it held within. Few dared to venture near it after sunset, and even during the day, a sense of unease hung heavy in the air around the mansion. Local children whispered ghost stories about the cursed place, their imaginations fueled by the ominous tales passed down through generations. One particularly dreary autumn afternoon, a young historian named Emily Hawthorne arrived in Ravenwood. Fascinated by the town's rich history and drawn by the lure of uncovering the truth behind its legends, she made it her mission to investigate the infamous mansion. Armed with notebooks, a camera, and a steadfast determination, Emily began her exploration. She spent days poring over dusty archives and interviewing elderly residents who reluctantly shared their fragmented memories of the mansion and its enigmatic former owner, Dr. Nathaniel Blackwood. Driven by curiosity and an insatiable thirst for knowledge, Emily finally set foot inside the mansion on a moonlit night. The air was thick with the scent of damp wood and ancient secrets. She moved cautiously through the dimly lit corridors, her footsteps echoing softly against the worn floorboards. As she explored deeper into the mansion, Emily uncovered hidden chambers filled with relics of a forgotten era, strange contraptions, dusty tomes bound in leather, and faded diagrams that hinted at Dr. Blackwood's experiments with the supernatural. But Emily's investigation took an unexpected turn when she discovered a locked door in the basement, obscured behind a veil of cobwebs and neglect. With trembling hands, she found the key hidden beneath a loose floorboard nearby and cautiously unlocked the door. Beyond lay a chamber unlike any she had encountered before. The air crackled with an unsettling energy, and the walls were adorned with intricate runes that seemed to pulse with a faint, otherworldly glow. In the center of the room stood a pedestal, upon which rested an ancient tome bound in black leather, its pages seemingly untouched by time. As Emily approached, a chill ran down her spine, and she felt a presence watching her from the shadows. Ignoring the warning signs, she reached out and opened the tome, its pages filled with cryptic symbols and arcane incantations. Suddenly, the air stirred with a malevolent force, and the temperature plummeted. Emily's heart raced as she realized she had stumbled upon something far more dangerous than she had anticipated. Whispers echoed in her mind, urging her to turn back before it was too late. But before she could react, a figure materialized before her. A spectral apparition with hollow eyes that bore into her soul. It spoke in a voice that echoed with centuries of longing and sorrow, warning her of the consequences of meddling with forces beyond mortal comprehension. Terrified yet undeterred, Emily pressed on, driven by a newfound determination to uncover the truth. She spent nights studying the tome, deciphering its secrets with a mixture of fear and fascination. Each revelation brought her closer to understanding the dark legacy of Dr. Nathaniel Blackwood and the ancient powers he had sought to harness. But as Emily delved deeper into the mysteries of the mansion, strange occurrences began to plague Ravenwood once more. Shadows moved of their own accord, and whispers drifted through the town's narrow streets. The barrier between the worlds grew thin, and the line between reality and nightmare blurred. Emily soon realized that she had awoken something dormant and malevolent, an entity that hungered for release and sought to reclaim what had been lost. With each passing day, the veil between the living and the dead grew thinner, and Emily found herself entangled in a battle for survival against forces she could scarcely comprehend. Now, as she stands at the precipice of revelation, Emily must confront the darkness that lurks within the mansion's walls and make a choice that will determine the fate of Ravenwood itself. For some secrets are not meant to be unearthed, and some doors are better left closed, lest they unleash horrors beyond imagining. Emily Hawthorne stood in the dimly lit chamber, the ancient tome open before her, its pages filled with cryptic symbols and arcane knowledge. The spectral apparition hovered before her, its presence palpable yet ethereal, its voice a haunting echo in the silence of the mansion. "You have awakened powers beyond your understanding," the apparition intoned, its voice a blend of sorrow and warning. "The darkness that dwells within these walls seeks release, and only chaos will follow if you continue down this path." Emily's heart pounded in her chest, torn between fear and fascination. She had come to Ravenwood seeking answers, driven by a desire to uncover the truth behind the mysteries that shrouded the mansion and its enigmatic owner. Now, faced with the consequences of her curiosity, she hesitated. But the allure of knowledge beckoned her forward. With trembling hands, she traced the ancient symbols on the tome's pages, piecing together fragments of spells and incantations that promised to unlock the secrets of the mansion's past. As she delved deeper into the tome's arcane lore, Emily began to unravel the tangled history of Dr. Nathaniel Blackwood, a brilliant but tormented scientist who had delved into forbidden realms in search of immortality and power. His experiments had unleashed forces that had long lain dormant, stirring the very fabric of reality itself. Yet, with each revelation came a mounting sense of dread. The mansion seemed to respond to Emily's exploration, its ancient foundations trembling with unseen energy. Shadows danced in the corners of her vision, and whispers echoed in the empty halls, urging her to abandon her quest before it was too late. But Emily pressed on, driven by a newfound determination to confront the darkness that had haunted Ravenwood for generations. She sought out elderly residents who still remembered the tales of Dr. Blackwood, piecing together fragments of folklore and superstition that hinted at a deeper, darker truth. Her research led her to a hidden chamber deep within the mansion, a place of ritual and sacrifice, where Dr. Blackwood had conducted unspeakable experiments in his quest for forbidden knowledge. The walls were adorned with sigils and glyphs that pulsed with a malevolent energy, and the air was thick with the scent of incense and decay. It was there, in the heart of the mansion's darkness, that Emily uncovered a revelation that shook her to her core. Dr. Blackwood's experiments had not only sought to defy death but to harness the very essence of life itself, a power that could bend reality to his will and reshape the world in his image. But the experiments had gone awry, unleashing a cataclysmic event that had consumed Dr. Blackwood and his followers, trapping their spirits within the mansion's walls for eternity. Now, their restless souls hungered for release, their whispers growing louder with each passing moment. As Emily struggled to make sense of the revelations before her, a sense of urgency gripped her soul. She knew that she held the key to unraveling the mansion's dark secrets, but she also understood the grave responsibility that came with it. The forces she had awakened were ancient and powerful, and their hunger for freedom threatened to engulf Ravenwood in chaos. With a heavy heart, Emily made her decision. She resolved to confront the spectral apparitions and put an end to the darkness that had plagued Ravenwood for centuries. Armed with newfound knowledge and a sense of purpose, she ventured deeper into the mansion, guided by the flickering light of her dwindling flashlight. In the heart of the mansion's labyrinthine corridors, Emily found herself face to face with the spectral presence once more. The apparitions swirled around her, their voices a cacophony of anguish and rage. But amidst the chaos, Emily sensed a glimmer of hope, a chance to break the cycle of suffering and set the trapped souls free. Summoning all her courage, Emily began to recite the ancient incantations she had uncovered in the tome. The words resonated with power, filling the chamber with a blinding light that banished the darkness and dispersed the spectral apparitions. As the last echoes of the incantation faded, Emily felt a profound sense of peace wash over her. The mansion stood silent and still around her, its ancient walls no longer haunted by the restless spirits of the past. The curse that had plagued Ravenwood for generations had been lifted, and the town was finally free from the grip of its dark history. But as Emily emerged from the mansion, she knew that her journey was far from over. The knowledge she had gained had come at a great cost, and she carried the weight of its implications with her. The tale of the mansion in Ravenwood would live on in whispered legends and cautionary tales, a reminder of the dangers that lurked in the pursuit of forbidden knowledge. And as she looked back at the mansion one last time, Emily vowed to use her newfound understanding to protect others from the darkness that had nearly consumed her. For some secrets are best left buried, lest they awaken forces beyond mortal control and unleash horrors that defy comprehension. As Emily emerged from the mansion, the cool night air of Ravenwood greeted her like a balm, yet she couldn't shake the lingering sense of unease that clung to her. The weight of what she had uncovered lay heavy on her shoulders. The ancient powers, the restless spirits, and the dark legacy of Dr. Nathaniel Blackwood. The townspeople, sensing a shift in the atmosphere, watched Emily with a mix of curiosity and apprehension. They had long avoided the mansion and its haunting history, but now whispers spread like wildfire through the quiet streets. Some feared Emily had awakened something that should have remained undisturbed, while others saw her as a savior who had freed them from the mansion's malevolent influence. In the days that followed, Emily immersed herself in research, determined to understand the full extent of the powers she had encountered. She pored over ancient texts and consulted experts in occult lore, piecing together fragments of knowledge that shed light on the true nature of the mansion's curse. Meanwhile, strange occurrences continued to unsettle Ravenwood. Shadows moved with a life of their own, and whispers drifted through the night air. The boundary between the mundane and the supernatural seemed to blur, as if the mansion's darkness had seeped into the fabric of reality itself. Emily knew she had to act swiftly. Armed with her newfound understanding, she sought out the few remaining descendants of Dr. Blackwood's lineage, hoping to uncover clues that could help her unravel the lingering mysteries. One stormy evening, Emily received an unexpected visitor. A woman cloaked in shadows, her eyes gleaming with an intensity that sent a chill down Emily's spine. The woman introduced herself as Amelia Blackwood, a descendant of the mansion's infamous owner. Amelia revealed secrets that had been passed down through generations, secrets that spoke of a pact forged with ancient entities in exchange for power and immortality. Dr. Nathaniel Blackwood, driven by an insatiable thirst for knowledge, had sought to transcend the limitations of humanity and become a god among mortals. But his ambitions had come at a great cost. The rituals he performed had unleashed forces that defied control, twisting the fabric of reality and binding the souls of the mansion's inhabitants to its walls. Amelia spoke of a prophecy foretold by her ancestors, a prophecy that forewarned of a chosen one who would either bring about the mansion's salvation or its ultimate destruction. Emily listened with a mixture of dread and determination. She knew that she had unwittingly become entangled in a struggle that spanned centuries, a struggle between light and darkness, between the desire for forbidden knowledge and the consequences of wielding it. As the storm raged outside, Emily and Amelia delved deeper into the mansion's secrets, uncovering hidden chambers and forgotten artifacts that held the key to unlocking the curse's hold on Ravenwood. Together, they pieced together the fragments of Dr. Blackwood's final experiment, a desperate attempt to contain the unleashed powers before they consumed everything in their path. With each revelation, Emily's resolve hardened. She realized that she alone possessed the knowledge and courage to confront the ancient entities that lingered within the mansion's depths. But she also knew that the final confrontation would test her to the limits of her strength and will. Armed with ancient artifacts and the incantations passed down by Amelia's ancestors, Emily returned to the mansion one last time. The air crackled with tension as she stood before the chamber where it had all begun, the place where Dr. Nathaniel Blackwood had sought to defy death and reshape the world according to his own desires. Drawing upon her newfound understanding of the arcane, Emily began to perform the rituals that would either seal the mansion's dark energies for eternity or unleash them upon the world once more. The ancient symbols glowed with a faint, pulsating light, and the air hummed with a potent mixture of fear and anticipation. As Emily reached the climax of the incantation, the mansion itself seemed to tremble. Shadows writhed and coalesced into ephemeral forms, and a chilling wind swept through the corridors, carrying with it the echoes of centuries-old whispers. But Emily remained steadfast. With every word spoken, she wove a barrier of protection around herself and Ravenwood, channeling the combined strength of generations past and present. The forces she had awakened surged against her defenses, their ethereal forms contorting with rage and longing. In a climactic moment, Emily uttered the final words of the incantation, her voice steady despite the weight of the ancient powers bearing down upon her. For a heartbeat, time seemed to stand still, and then, with a blinding flash of light, the mansion shook violently before falling silent once more. When Emily opened her eyes, she found herself standing in the stillness of the chamber, surrounded by the remnants of her journey. The air was heavy with the scent of lingering magic, but the mansion's oppressive aura had dissipated. Outside, the storm had cleared, leaving behind a tranquil night sky that shimmered with starlight. Emily knew that she had succeeded. The curse of Dr. Nathaniel Blackwood had been broken, and Ravenwood was finally free from its shadowy grip. As she walked away from the mansion for the last time, Emily reflected on the lessons learned from her harrowing experience. She had confronted the darkness within herself and emerged stronger for it, understanding that the pursuit of knowledge must always be tempered by wisdom and humility. The tale of Emily Hawthorne and the mansion in Ravenwood would be whispered in hushed tones for generations to come, a testament to the dangers of delving too deeply into the unknown and the courage it takes to confront the darkness that lurks within us all. As Emily Hawthorne walked away from the mansion in Ravenwood, she felt a profound sense of peace wash over her. The weight of the ancient curse had lifted, and the town around her seemed to breathe a sigh of relief. The once foreboding mansion now stood silent and still, its dark secrets buried beneath layers of history and newfound tranquility. Over the following weeks, Emily remained in Ravenwood, helping the townspeople rebuild their lives and restore a sense of normalcy. The strange occurrences that had plagued the town gradually faded into memory, replaced by a newfound optimism and unity among its residents. Amelia Blackwood became Emily's steadfast ally, sharing her knowledge of the mansion's history and aiding in the restoration efforts. Together, they ensured that the dark legacy of Dr. Nathaniel Blackwood would never again cast a shadow over Ravenwood. As time passed, Emily continued her research into the occult and arcane, but with a newfound respect for the boundaries of forbidden knowledge. She wrote extensively about her experiences in Ravenwood, hoping to educate future generations about the perils of delving too deeply into the mysteries of the supernatural. Years later, Ravenwood had transformed into a thriving community known for its resilience and solidarity. The mansion, now restored to its former glory, stood as a symbol of the town's triumph over adversity, a testament to the courage of those who had faced their fears and emerged stronger for it. Emily Hawthorne eventually moved on from Ravenwood, carrying with her the lessons learned from her time in the haunted mansion. She continued her work as a historian and researcher, but her heart always held a special place for the town and its people who had welcomed her into their lives. And so, the tale of Emily Hawthorne and the mansion in Ravenwood faded into legend, a story of bravery, redemption, and the enduring power of hope in the face of darkness. But for those who remembered, the echoes of Emily's journey lingered in the whispers of the wind and the quiet, starlit nights of Ravenwood, a reminder that even in the darkest of times, light could prevail.